They often say a man dies twice. The first time is when his heart stops beating, and the second time is when his manhood can no longer rise the way it used to. It may sound heavy, but it is the truth that millions of men over 60 in the United States quietly experience every single day. It is not chest pain. It is not a fading memory. It is the moment you begin to feel that area down there becoming weaker, tighter, or unusually slow to respond. Sometimes you may notice a slight internal pull, something like a cramp, yet not exactly painful. Many men ignore it, but in reality, it is your blood vessels calling for help. Your body does not lie. When the blood vessels that supply your manhood begin to stiffen, narrow, or lose their elasticity, you can feel it right away. Weaker erections, losing firmness after entering, reduced sensation, or simply not the way it used to be. And if you ignore it, over time, those vessels do more than just weaken your intimate life. They begin to starve the erectile tissue from the inside, slowly and quietly weakening your masculine ability in a persistent, silent way. I am Dr. Mohit Kara, with more than 30 years of working in men's physiology, especially with men over 60. I have heard countless patients tell me the same thing. Doctor, I thought this was just aging. I thought this was natural. And I always answer, age is not a sentence. Declining blood flow is the real issue. And what has surprised me most in decades of practice is that many of the solutions are simpler than you think. Not a blue pill, not a painful procedure at the clinic, but something sitting right inside your refrigerator. Most men believe their bodies weaken because of age, but much of that decline, from the tightening sensation down there to increasingly weaker erections, is connected to circulation, something that can absolutely improve when you give your body the right building blocks. Today, I will show you 3 foods that are scientifically proven to fight against penile blood flow constriction, reopen the circulation, and bring back that strong, energized feeling you once had. One of them even works so quickly that many of my patients say they can feel a clear difference in less than a week. And the best part is, all of them are natural, safe, easy to find, and perfectly suited for the bodies of older men. Now let's begin with the first food, a simple root vegetable that has the power to surprise many men over 60 with the changes it brings. When it comes to a man's ability to get an erection after age 60, many people think about hormones, medication, or psychology. But there is one factor that hardly anyone pays attention to, even though it is the main key that determines whether the penis receives enough blood: nitric oxide. And among the foods with the strongest ability to activate nitric oxide, beets are always at the top of the list. Beets contain an exceptionally high amount of natural nitrates. When you eat them or drink beet juice, these nitrates are converted into nitric oxide, a molecule that relaxes blood vessels from the large ones to the very small ones, allowing them to open up and let blood flow more easily into the erectile tissue. This is why many older patients describe a feeling of warmth or greater ease in the lower area after just a few days of using beets. The blood vessels are beginning to loosen again. After age 60, the body naturally produces less nitric oxide. It is not because you are becoming weaker, but because your blood vessels are no longer as flexible as they once were. This leads to signs many men feel but do not understand: slower arousal, erections that are not firm enough, losing firmness during intercourse, or a sensation of internal tightness or pressure. Many assume this is a testosterone problem, but in most cases, it is simply that the blood cannot enter properly. And the root cause is a shortage of nitric oxide. Beets act like a natural blood flow primer. When nitrates turn into nitric oxide, the major vessels leading to the lower regions soften, widen, and become more flexible. This not only improves erection quality, but also reduces the mild constriction many men describe as an internal cramp. These sensations are not true pain. They are signals from the body that the blood vessels are working too hard to push blood into the penis. I have a 68-year-old patient in Arizona. He is someone who exercises regularly, but he recently began feeling that the area down there responds weakly whenever he was intimate with his wife. A tight, uncomfortable sensation, almost like something was gently pulling from the inside. I advised him to drink a glass of beet juice every morning for 2 to 3 weeks. The results came faster than he expected. He said, "Doctor, I don't know why, but that tight feeling disappeared, and my body responds much stronger now." What he was feeling was simply the blood vessels beginning to open up again. The wonderful thing about beets is their simplicity. You can juice them, roast them with olive oil, add them to a salad, or steam them lightly. You do not need to overhaul your entire diet. Just include beets regularly each day or a few times a week. More importantly, beets do not make your body depend on them the way medication can. They simply reactivate the natural mechanisms your body already has. And this is only the beginning, because the next food not only helps relax your blood vessels, but also works very similarly to an erection-supporting medication. Yet it is completely natural and has no side effects. If beets are the starting boost that clears the path for blood to flow down to the lower region, then watermelon is the fruit that acts as the accelerator, but in a very gentle, natural way that is especially suited for men over 60. The interesting thing is that the most powerful part of the watermelon is not the sweet red flesh, but the white rind that most people cut away. This white rind contains a very high amount of L-citrulline, an amino acid that can be converted into arginine and then into nitric oxide. This is the very molecule that erectile supporting medications target. But instead of forcing your body the way medication does, watermelon helps your body produce nitric oxide on its own, in its natural rhythm. That is why it is often called a soft erectile enhancer. No side effects, no added strain on the heart, and no drained or fatigued feeling afterward. Citrulline is especially important for older men because it directly affects the tiny blood vessels that supply the erectile tissue. After age 60, these vessels often become stiff, narrow, and less elastic, leading to what many men describe as an internal tightening whenever they try to get an erection. This is a form of penile blood flow cramping, a constriction of the blood vessels in the penis that makes erections harder to achieve, less stable, and lacking in strength. Watermelon softens these vessels by increasing nitric oxide within each tiny microvessel, helping them expand more easily. When the vessels soften, blood flows in faster, stronger, and more evenly. Many patients report that the heavy or tight sensation in the lower region decreases noticeably after just a few days of drinking watermelon smoothies. I remember a 67-year-old patient in Florida. He once believed that his lower region had completely aged. Every time he was intimate, he felt as if an invisible cord was tightening around him, draining his confidence. I advised him to use watermelon the correct way, blending both the red flesh and the white rind. After just 2 weeks, he called me back with an excited voice. "Doctor, every morning I wake up feeling like I'm 15 years younger." The wonderful thing is that watermelon is incredibly easy to use. You do not need any complicated preparation. Just blend a small glass each day or eat it directly along with the white rind if you can. This is the simplest way to get citrulline into your body without taking any pills. Watermelon works gently, supporting your body's ability to self-regulate and self-repair. And when you combine it with beets and pumpkin seeds, you create a circulation triangle that delivers results far beyond what you might expect. If beets are the starter and watermelon is the accelerator, then pumpkin seeds are the sustaining fuel that helps your body maintain strength over the long term. Pumpkin seeds are small, simple, and often tossed aside when preparing food. Yet inside they contain 3 nutrients that every man over 60 needs in order to maintain natural erection quality: magnesium, zinc, and arginine. Magnesium is the key that allows the smooth muscles in your blood vessel walls to relax at the right moment. When you lack magnesium, the vessels tend to tighten, creating that heavy, tight, or constricted feeling inside the lower region, something many men over 60 describe but struggle to name. It is not pain, but a microconstriction of the vessel walls. And when the vessels cannot relax, blood cannot enter fully enough to create a firm erection. Pumpkin seeds provide a natural source of magnesium that helps calm these constrictions, allowing blood to flow more smoothly. Zinc is directly connected to testosterone, the hormone that drives desire, sensitivity, and masculine strength. Research shows that men over 60 are often significantly deficient in zinc because absorption declines with age. When zinc is low, testosterone drops quickly, leading to fatigue, reduced libido, and weaker erectile stability. 1 tablespoon of pumpkin seeds each day can provide enough zinc to support and stabilize your body's natural testosterone levels. Arginine, the third component, is the raw material your body uses to produce nitric oxide, the molecule that relaxes blood vessels and allows blood to enter the erectile tissue. This is why pumpkin seeds are considered the foundational fuel of circulation. Without enough arginine, even if you use beets or watermelon, your body still struggles to produce sufficient nitric oxide to achieve the full effect. I remember a 72-year-old patient, a former U.S. Air Force veteran. He came to see me extremely frustrated because every time he was intimate, he felt a deep internal pressure that caused his body to shut down. He said, "It doesn't hurt, but something just switches me off." I suggested he try adding pumpkin seeds to his diet each day, just 1 small tablespoon. 3 weeks later, he returned with a confident smile and said, "That pressure is gone, and in the morning, I feel alive again." The wonderful thing about pumpkin seeds is their simplicity. No cooking needed, no seasoning required. Just sprinkle them over your oatmeal, mix them into a salad, or eat them directly. Yet the results are deep, lasting, and support your entire vascular system in a natural way. When combined with beets and watermelon, pumpkin seeds become the pillar that helps maintain long-term results, nourish your circulation from within, and help your body regain masculine strength that endures over time. When it comes to blood circulation, especially the blood flow that nourishes the penis, many people assume that just one good food is enough. But after more than 30 years of working with men over 60, I've learned one thing. The body does not operate on a one-thing-fixes-everything system. It needs support from multiple directions, like 3 different keys working together to open the same door. Beets, watermelon, and pumpkin seeds are those 3 keys. Each of these foods acts on a different link in the circulatory system, but when combined, they create a synergistic effect that is far more powerful than any one of them on its own. Beets play the role of opening the path. Thanks to their natural nitrates, they help the body produce nitric oxide, the molecule that softens vessel walls and widens the flow inside the large and medium-sized blood vessels. When these main pipelines open, the body can begin sending blood to the lower region much more easily. Watermelon works on a deeper layer, the tiny microvessels that feed the erectile tissue. The citrulline in the white rind converts into arginine and then into nitric oxide. This helps soften, relax, and restore the elasticity of these ultra-small vessels that erectile medications can barely reach. That is why it is especially effective for the tightening or squeezing sensation that many older men experience. And finally, pumpkin seeds, the foundational support. If you lack magnesium, your vessels tighten easily. If you lack zinc, testosterone drops quickly. If you lack arginine, your body cannot produce enough nitric oxide. Pumpkin seeds supply all 3 nutrients consistently, ensuring that your blood vessels do not just open for a moment, but remain supported and stable over time. When combined, these 3 foods do not simply improve circulation, they rebuild the entire system that delivers blood to the penis. One opens the path, one softens the vessels, one provides the minerals that keep the process running smoothly every single day. That is why many men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s report feeling a noticeable difference after just a few weeks of consistency. And here is the key point. You do not need strong willpower. You do not need to make major lifestyle changes. Simply add this trio to your daily diet, and your body will take care of the rest on its own. But before you begin, there is one mistake that many men over 60 make. A mistake that causes them to become increasingly dependent on medication and gradually lose their natural ability. You need to avoid this before starting your journey to better circulation. If there is one mistake I see repeated over and over in most men over 60, it is the dependence on erection-supporting medication. Many believe that taking a blue pill or a yellow pill will solve everything. But the truth is the opposite. These medications do not repair the aging, deteriorating blood vessel system. They only force blood to push through a network that has already become narrowed and stiff with age. Imagine you have a faucet clogged with mineral buildup. Instead of cleaning it, you simply turn the water pressure up. The water may come out, but the increased pressure will make the faucet wear out even faster. Your manhood works the same way. Medication can create a temporary erection, but it does not fix the real reason blood cannot enter, which is narrowed, stiffened blood vessels and a lack of nitric oxide. And I have met many patients who tell me the exact same thing. At first, the medication worked, but over time it got weaker. That happens because you are trying to use pressure to compensate for a circulatory system that is slowly declining. And sometimes the price you pay is not small. Headaches, facial flushing, heart strain, and even a loss of natural sensation during intimacy. What most people do not realize is this: your manhood is not broken. It is simply being starved. When your body lacks nitrates, magnesium, zinc, and arginine, then no matter how strong the medication is, your body cannot maintain a stable erection. The natural mechanism is neglected, and over time it becomes harder and harder to restore. And that is exactly why the trio of foods you just learned about is so important. They do not force blood into the penis. They rebuild the vascular system from the root, helping your body produce its own nitric oxide, relax its own vessels, and increase circulation naturally, in the safest way for older men. But do you know what is even more important? Even if you know these three foods, you still need a clear plan to turn them into a daily habit. Many men understand the information but never apply it, and that is why they never see results. Now that you understand why these three foods are powerful enough to change how blood flows to the penis, the most important question is this: how do you turn them into a habit, instead of just hearing about them and doing nothing? Through many years of working with men over 60, I've realized that the ones who get the best results are not the ones who understand the most, but the ones who start taking action, even with just one small step each day. That is why I created this simple 7-day plan. No complicated cooking, no expensive ingredients. As long as you follow it consistently each day, your body will take care of the rest on its own. In the morning, start with a glass of beet juice. Drinking it on an empty stomach helps nitrates convert into nitric oxide more quickly, awakening the vascular system and clearing the path for blood flow to the lower region. Many patients say that after just a few days, they feel their body warm up and their circulation function more smoothly. Mid-morning, prepare a watermelon smoothie, making sure to include the white rind, the part with the highest amount of citrulline. This is the time of day when your body needs a gentle energy boost, and citrulline helps soften the tiny blood vessels, reduce that internal tightening in the lower region, and increase sensitivity when the body is stimulated. In the afternoon, eat a handful of raw, unsalted pumpkin seeds. They provide magnesium to relax the vessels, zinc to support testosterone, and arginine to help your body produce more nitric oxide. This step is essential because it helps maintain long-lasting erectile strength rather than just offering temporary improvement. In the afternoon, eat a handful of raw, unsalted pumpkin seeds. They provide magnesium to relax the vessels, zinc to support testosterone, and arginine to help your body produce more nitric oxide. This step is extremely important because it helps maintain long-term erection strength rather than offering only temporary improvement. Along with these three foods, I recommend drinking enough water, walking 15-20 minutes each day, and spending 1 minute each morning on deep breathing. These small habits help improve circulation and reduce the risk of vascular constriction. This plan does not require perfection. It only requires that you show up each day. Your body does not need miracles. It needs rhythm. The more consistently you follow it, the more noticeable the improvements will be. Many men say that after just 5 to 7 days, they feel a difference in their energy levels, erection quality, and confidence. But before we end this video, I want to leave you with something even more important. The message I give to all my patients, whether they are 60, 70, or 80 years old. There is something I want every man watching this video to understand clearly. You are not broken, you are not too old, and you have never lost your chance. Many men think that when their performance declines, their desire weakens, or they feel tightening in the lower region, it is a sign that their body is going downhill with age. But after decades of working with men over 60, I can tell you something completely different. Your body still has the ability to recover, far more than you realize. What hurts most men is not the inability to get an erection. It is the quiet feeling of losing a part of themselves. Many never say it out loud, but inside they carry a silent sadness. They feel less masculine, less connected, and sometimes less confident when they look in the mirror each morning. But the truth is this: all of that can change. Blood vessels can regenerate, nitric oxide can rise again, strength, sensitivity, intimacy, all of it can return if you nourish your body the right way. I have met men aged 65, 72, even 81 who walked into my office with tired, discouraged eyes. But just a few weeks after they began taking care of their bodies again, they returned with a smile I knew they had not worn for a very long time. They told me they felt like they had come back to themselves. And you can feel the same. If you've watched until this point, it tells me something very important. You still care about your health, your strength, and your confidence. And that is the first step toward change. Your body, whether you are 60, 70, or 80, still has the ability to recover as long as you give it the right ingredients. Today, you've learned about 3 foods that can open up circulation, reduce tightening in the lower region, and help your body naturally produce nitric oxide again. Beets, watermelon, and pumpkin seeds. This is not magic. This is biology. And when you apply it correctly, you will feel a noticeable difference over time. If these insights gave you hope or a clear direction to follow, please click like so the video can reach more men who may be quietly struggling with the same issues. Leave a comment saying, "I'm rebuilding," to let me know you're ready to begin your next chapter. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss the science-based, practical guidance made specifically for men over 60. Thank you for being here. This is not the end. This is where your journey truly begins.